You know, people go on and on about like you have to forgive and forget to move past something. No, you don't. You don't have to forgive and you don't have to forget to move on. You can move on without any of those things happening.
Yes, Taylor Swift agreed to be deposed by Brian Friedman.
Could Taylor Swift's text messages actually destroy Blake Lively's case? And does Justin already have them?
Blake Lively, caught in an unthinkable bind, reportedly tried to blackmail Taylor Swift, even demanding she delete text messages. This isn't just an accusation, it's a sworn statement from a key lawyer in a federal case. The very idea of evidence tampering involving a superstar friendship sends a chilling message through Hollywood. This bombshell isn't just about hurt feelings, it exposes a desperate attempt to cover tracks in a high-stakes legal battle, revealing a side of Blake nobody expected. The silence from Taylor's camp spoke volumes, hinting at a friendship burned to ash long before this courtroom drama began. This is the real Blake, panicking, watching her carefully constructed image crumble publicly.
Finally, it says here at the end, Ms. Lively misleading implies the Wayfair parties seek a blanket 30-day extension of the discovery cutoff date. In fact, the Wayfair parties request an agreement solely to take the deposition of Taylor.
Taylor Swift has now agreed to be deposed by Brian Friedman. Not a casual chat, but an on-camera interview. Every word recorded and frozen forever. Mark your calendars. October 20th to 25th. This isn't just any witness. It's the biggest pop star on the planet, about to sit under oath and spill every piece of tea. Can you imagine the anxiety tearing through Blake right now? The very confidant she leaned on for years is now set to legally unmask her entire case, ripping off the Band-Aid in front of the world. This voluntary agreement from Taylor changes everything, painting a picture far more devastating than mere subpoena drama.
Blake Lively's team is complaining to the judge that they haven't seen these signal messages that they think is going to involve some kind of bombshell or some kind of evidence. And they're complaining to the judge that they haven't been able to see them yet. And Baldone's team is saying that we are willing to give it to you, but it takes a while to retrieve these messages.
Blake Lively is reportedly spiraling, her meticulously crafted Hollywood facade cracking under immense pressure. Judge Lyman is openly leaning on Taylor Swift's evidence, systematically ripping Blake's case apart. The glamorous red carpets and curated Instagram pictures seem a distant memory, a stark contrast to the panic unfolding inside a courtroom. Her team's frantic complaints about unseen signal messages echoed desperation, especially when the judge had already granted access to crucial Swift-Lively communications months ago. This isn't just a legal skirmish, it's a very public unraveling, with Taylor Swift herself holding the key to Blake's potential downfall.
We're also talking about the deposition dates for Justin Baldoni, which is, I think, September 21st and September 22nd. And Blake Lively's team wants to see all these messages before they're subpoenaing everyone, blah, blah, blah.
Judge Lyman had already given Wayfair access to pivotal Swift-Lively messages earlier this year, expecting Blake to hand them over. But Blake has never freely surrendered damaging evidence against herself. She dragged her feet, stalled, pretending the alarm clock never rang, hoping the problem would vanish. Yet, the judge made his stance crystal clear. Those texts belonged in discovery. Now, with Taylor agreeing to appear under oath, Blake's hide-and-seek act is officially over. Her Hollywood sparkle can no longer shield her when the world's biggest pop star is literally sitting down to testify, ending all evasive tactics.
Well, I mean, Friedman said specifically, right, when he put that order out that, you know, someone close to Taylor, which it seems was her father, was not only saying that, you know, there was stuff, but that Blake was asking Taylor to delete text messages. If that's found, that's going to be brutal. I mean, that's definitely not going to help her case.
Let's not pretend this is about friendship anymore. That bond is unequivocally dead, burned to ash. You don't unfollow Ryan Reynolds if you're still popping champagne with Blake Lively. Taylor Swift didn't sue Friedman for using her name, nor did she go out of her way to defend Blake when she easily could have. Taylor's silence has been absolutely deafening, a louder statement than any Instagram story could convey. Everyone sees it. That decade-long friendship is officially over. And now Taylor is walking into court armed with the receipts, ready to expose the truth.
The Wayfair parties have seen the text messages between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively.
The irony here is delicious. Back in May 2025, Blake's team puffed their chest to Variety, openly mocking Wayfair for even daring to subpoena Taylor. They declared Wayfair had folded when that initial subpoena got dropped, acting as if Friedman had run out of tricks. Fast forward just months, and the joke is entirely on them. Taylor didn't just get dragged into this. She volunteered. She said yes, she's not fighting it. No Hollywood excuses, no diva act. She's walking right in, and you can practically hear Blake's stomach hitting the floor with pure dread. The tables have truly turned in this legal drama.
I think they have the text messages, and I think they got them recently, and that's why they decided to pull this last-ditch effort to get Taylor Swift to get deposed. I think if they had something prior, they probably would have tried to get her on the books sooner.
So
the accusations are truly ugly, stretching far beyond mere hurt feelings between former friends. We're talking direct claims that Blake attempted to blackmail Taylor into publicly supporting her. Even worse, the assertion is that Blake asked Taylor to delete crucial text messages. Friedman specifically stated in his order that someone close to Taylor, seemingly her father, confirmed this disturbing request. If that detail is proven, it will be absolutely brutal for Blake's case. This isn't just messy interpersonal drama, it's a serious allegation of evidence tampering, a legal misstep that could prove catastrophic.
But, I mean, Taylor's legal team made it clear that they were only notified 3 days before that they were even being dragged back into this for a deposition. So I think that's probably when they got the text messages. We do know that Lyman ruled in favor of the Wayfair parties to get the text messages. So I'm assuming they've now entered the group chat, and there's probably something in there that contradicts something that Blake has said.
Do you grasp the sheer desperation required to text your superstar best friend, "Hey girl, can you delete that?" amidst a mounting legal battle? Blake, this isn't a casual group chat argument about brunch plans. This is a federal case with immense consequences. You simply do not delete evidence. That's Law School 101, and Blake clearly skipped that foundational class. The implications of such a request are staggering, revealing a panicked attempt to manipulate the legal process rather than face the truth. It paints a picture of someone pushed to extreme measures to control a rapidly deteriorating situation.
And if Taylor Swift are going to share these things under that deposition under oath, and she is Justin Baldoni's witness.
Now for the second bombshell, Perez Hilton, controversial as he may be, firmly states the Wayfair parties have already seen them. Let that sink in. Wayfair's legal team, Baldoni's camp, has eyes on the text messages exchanged between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively. According to Perez's source, these messages are not just mildly embarrassing or a little awkward, they are devastating for Blake. This isn't a minor setback, it's the kind of devastating blow that makes an entire legal story crumble like a poorly written movie script. They possess the receipts, and they're waiting for the opportune moment to deploy them in court.
Maybe this was all part of the plan where Taylor's like, look, I'll give you some dirt against Blake. I'll give you these texts. Obviously, let's do it that way. But we have to ensure I don't have to testify. Like that, I'm not going to do. If you want me to play easy, I'll give you this bullet. But we have to make sure it looks like I'm not privy to it and you forced it out of me.
So, what dark secrets lurk within these devastating texts? Some reportedly show Blake directly pressuring Taylor, an act that could be damaging. Others, more alarmingly, might directly contradict what Blake has already sworn under oath in court. Imagine testifying one thing, believing your version of events is secure, only for undeniable receipts to surface, showing the complete opposite. That's not just a bad look, that's perjury territory. A charge juries are known to devour alive. The stakes just escalated dramatically, moving from professional reputation to severe legal consequences, including potential criminal charges for false testimony, threatening everything Blake has built.
Also, according to what leaked to the media back in May, Taylor Swift had been asked by Blake Lively to delete text messages between them. That's basically evidence tampering, which is very serious.
And here's the cherry on top. Blake's brilliant idea to use the Signal app, complete with its auto-delete function, because nothing screams innocence louder than consciously picking a messaging application designed specifically to make conversations disappear. Her team had the audacity to whine that it took time to retrieve those deleted messages. No kidding. That's akin to robbing a bank and then complaining the police are slow counting the stolen money. Friedman wasn't buying it for a second, continually insisting the data was retrievable. Now Taylor's impending deposition means whatever Blake thought she could hide is about to be dragged into the unforgiving light.
Due to Miss Swift's pre-existing professional obligations. Whether the court agrees to the broader modification sought by plaintiff, the Wayfair parties respectfully request that the court modify the scheduling order for the sole purpose of accommodating third-party witness Taylor Swift.
Let's not overlook Friedman's sworn affidavit. This man, under oath, stated that Blake asked Taylor to erase evidence. This isn't some whispered rumor, it's an official on-paper declaration. If Taylor confirms this shocking detail during her deposition, it transcends mere embarrassment. It transforms into an undeniable act of deliberate obstruction of justice, a grave legal offense. There is absolutely no way to spin that into a simple misunderstanding between friends. It's obstruction, plain and simple, carrying heavy penalties and cementing Blake's image as someone willing to break the law to protect herself. The consequences are dire.
Baldoni's team agreed to drop the subpoena against Taylor Swift. In that subpoena, they were looking for information how Taylor Swift was actually involved in the production and everything with It Ends With Us. Now, that's not really their goal here. Their goal here is to get the information out of Taylor Swift.
The funniest part of this unfolding drama is how everyone assumed these explosive texts would leak to TMZ or some sensational tabloid. Nope, Wayfair is playing a much different game, strategically sitting on these messages like a nuclear warhead. They have zero need for fleeting gossip headline. Their objective is far more calculated, to drop this devastating evidence directly into court filings at the absolute perfect, most impactful time. With Taylor Swift poised to share these truths under oath as Justin Baldoni's witness, Blake could be blindsided by her own words, read aloud in a courtroom, a weapon far more potent than any paparazzi shot.
Right, Alexander Shapiro's no joke. We had Ron on who was talking about that's a ballsy move. That's a show off flex. Like, we got someone in here and she's more capable to handle this trial than, let's be honest, Friedman's not always a trial attorney. So it does seem like they are trying to do some flexing now, but
here's where things get interesting.
So, where exactly does this leave Blake Lively? Absolutely cornered. Her entire strategy has been built on smoke and mirrors, dragging things out, throwing public tantrums, and hoping her celebrity status would force the court to bend. But celebrity charisma simply doesn't work when Taylor Swift, the world's biggest pop star, is standing directly across from you, ready to testify. If Taylor confirms under oath that Blake pressured her or asked her to delete evidence, Blake's entire narrative collapses instantly. Blake knows this, which explains the very public meltdown and palpable desperation now showing through every crack in her facade.
That these text messages have been sent or have been seen by Baldoni's team. He said that this person told him this is not good for Blake Lively. He also thinks that it's not great for Taylor Swift because Taylor Swift doesn't want to get dragged into this, and of course she doesn't want her text messages to become public.
Judge Lyman had finally had enough. You could practically visualize smoke coming from his ears when Wayfair humbly begged for just a 10-day extension. 10 days! That's practically nothing in federal court. Judges grant such minor delays constantly, but not when you've already wasted 6 whole months. 6 months where Wayfair was supposed to prepare, gather evidence, and meticulously line everything up. Instead, they waited until the 11th hour, dumped a mountain of 100,000 documents at the court's feet, and then acted utterly surprised when the judge was less than impressed by their tantrum disguised as paperwork. His patience was completely exhausted.
Taylor Swift, who has agreed to appear for deposition, but is unable to do so before October 20th, 2025. Yes, Taylor Swift agreed to be deposed by Brian Friedman.
Friedman's initial confident swagger, promising destruction and vowing to bury Blake, has dissolved into a series of courtroom fumbles. He couldn't even manage basic subpoena details like addresses, making bold claims in the press about suing Blake into oblivion, only to collapse in court because his team couldn't handle the fundamentals. Oblivion? Please. At this point, Blake looks more resilient than ever, while Wayfair is gasping for credibility. Legal analyst Ron aptly put it, Judges typically don't mind small extensions, but Lyman's refusal signaled his patience was gone, sending a clear message: I'm not here to babysit you clowns.
So is Taylor Swift's team right now putting a lot of pressure on Blake Lively's team to end this lawsuit? I don't know, but that makes a lot of sense.
I'm still someone who is the first to apologize when I'm wrong. And I think I'm better at standing up for myself when I've been wrong.
Just when it seemed Wayfair's legal strategy was becoming one long blooper reel, they pulled a stunning move. They leveled up their team. Enter Alexander Shapiro. She clerked for 2 federal judges, including none other than Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court. This is no mere publicity stunt hire. This is the caliber of lawyer you bring in when you are explicitly preparing for appeals, when you know the current judge isn't buying what you're selling. Shapiro lives and breathes appellate law, white-collar defense, and complex litigation, ready to dissect rulings and argue judicial error, a formidable opponent.
And the fact is here, even if those text messages between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift doesn't say anything about the SH that Blake Lively accused Justin Baldoni of,
Shapiro isn't alone. Jonathan Bach, another top-tier white-collar defense attorney, has also joined the lineup. With these 2 legal titans, Wayfair suddenly looks like they're done playing the clown show in Judge Lyman's courtroom. Instead, they're meticulously building an escape route straight to the appellate court. Here's the critical trick. Appeals aren't about retrying the entire case. They're about meticulously demonstrating that the judge made significant mistakes. Lyman, in their view, provided ample material, blocking witnesses, rejecting delays, and bending over backwards to give Blake every perceived advantage. That contentious record is precisely what Shapiro will now relentlessly build upon.
because we know that if there were some real value in there, Blake Lively would have probably used it already against Justin Baldoni. If she conferred in her best friend and told Taylor about this SH, that evidence would have been out there.
Consider the New York Times example. Blake's team had fed the paper a confidential complaint that wasn't even public at the time. The NYT initially claimed they were just reporting on public information, but that defense crumbled when it was revealed the complaint was entirely non-public. Suddenly, the Times' credibility was shot and Blake's took another substantial blow. That's precisely the kind of procedural nugget appellate lawyers cherish. It signals potential favoritism, glaring inconsistency, and possible bias, exactly the ammunition Shapiro needs to challenge Lyman's impartiality. Then there's Exhibit A. Blake screamed smear campaign about Wayfair publishing evidence, only for it to be revealed as mere strategy emails about making already filed evidence public. Desperation dressed as outrage.
As far as we know, Blake Lively didn't confer in anyone about this horrific experience that she had on the set of It Ends With Us. At this point, you have to remember, it's not that important how much involvement Taylor Swift had in the making of It Ends With Us.
While this legal firestorm rages, Blake's husband, Ryan Reynolds, runs his own frantic PR marathon, desperately trying to polish their tarnished family brand. First, a suspiciously timed $10,000 donation to a cancer-stricken 13-year-old, conveniently after a red carpet rudeness scandal. It's Image Rehab 101, transparently designed to drown out negative headlines. Then, he's touring a John Candy documentary, placing his own photo larger than the beloved comedians on posters, hijacking Candy's legacy to rebrand himself as a lovable family guy, and finally, puff pieces praising his classy behavior after a soccer loss. Everyone sees through this desperate attempt to spin away from the legal disaster.
She is sitting down for an on-camera interview to talk about her relationship with Blake Lively, and probably about the text messages that Blake Lively sent to her when she was trying to blackmail her.
Adding another layer to this intricate mess, Isabella Ferrer suddenly appeared, looking as if she just emerged from witness protection. Different hair color, a subdued look, and paparazzi shots screaming subpoena stress followed her every move. Whether her somber appearance was genuine sadness or a carefully calculated pose is irrelevant. The message is crystal clear. This case has far-reaching tentacles. It's no longer confined to just Blake and Baldoni. It's actively pulling in side players, friends, colleagues, colleagues, anyone even remotely connected. Every new sighting of someone involved serves as a stark reminder to the public of just how wide and deeply personal this legal net has spread, turning Blake's private drama into an industry-wide headache.
At this point, when Justin Baldoni is just defending himself, the important thing for Blake Lively to prove here is that she was SH'd. And if she can't show any evidence of that, I've said that before, then her whole case collapses, because then she doesn't have a claim with the smear campaign.
Taylor Swift's testimony itself is the real kicker. This isn't some fleeting gossip blog leak or an anonymous Reddit post. This is sworn deposition, filmed and officially on record. The undeniable fact that snippets will undoubtedly end up in court filings means Blake cannot spin her way out of it. If Taylor confirms Blake's attempts at blackmail or her request to delete messages, Blake's credibility won't just take a hit, it will completely collapse. It's like pulling the one foundational card that causes an entire house of cards to tumble. Once you're exposed as someone willing to tamper with evidence, absolutely nothing else you say in court can ever truly be trusted.
Of course, there might be a text message there that Blake Lively asked Taylor Swift to delete the text messages. That information is something that Brian Friedman wrote a sworn statement about, that Blake Lively had asked Taylor Swift to delete evidence.
So, what's the endgame for Blake Lively? Settlement rumors are swirling everywhere, with whispers of both sides walking away with no damages and issuing carefully polished joint statements. That's not closure. That's pure spin. Two parties pretending they weren't just clawing at each other in federal court. The mere fact that settlement is even being whispered reveals how shaky Blake's position truly is. If she had real ammunition, she'd be demanding the moon. Yet, with Shapiro and Bach now on Wayfair's side, Blake is staring down a legal juggernaut, forcing her to consider whether she's truly ready to fight them through trial and then again on appeal, potentially drowning in legal bills with nothing but a shattered reputation to show for it.